Hi everybody, it's Judy Richardson. I moved to a tiny little mountain town in New Mexico last year from Brooklyn, and my internet is not very reliable, so I'm making this video for you so that I don't start talking at the opening and get cut off. This is one of the pieces of mine in the show called Big Fat Liar. I made it while I was listening to the Kavanaugh hearings, and I was just so aggravated and disgusted with what I was listening to. I was thinking, all I could think about was gritting my teeth so I wouldn't scream. So I made this piece using bicycle tires and wrapping pieces of plywood that I cut with sheet metal and making the big mouth of my mouth while I was listening to the rapist judge Brett Kavanaugh talking. I felt so exasperated. I've made a lot of work out of things that people have used and things that people have sat in or slept in or worn. This is a piece called Pollera that is from some time I spent in Bolivia a few years ago at an artist residency. It's represents the skirt that the native women wear there that was imposed on them by the Spanish, because the Spanish didn't like the wraparound dresses that they wore when they got there. And I've used a lot of found materials. This piece is called Ride, and I was a bicycle commuter in New York City almost 30 years, so I looked a lot at the road and about avoiding broken glass, and sometimes my ride to my jobs just seemed like all I could remember about the job was that ride. So when I moved to the city years ago, I didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't know where to get anything. I started to make work using just stuff that I found out on the street, and that really became my aesthetic. So I brought a lot of that work with me when I moved here. But when I got to New Mexico, I really felt like it wasn't about people nearly as much. These are things that I kind of remade after I got here. But here it's a lot about the wind and the rocks and the grass. And when the virus started, I made this piece. I really felt like it was like this net that we were caught in, and I made this piece about that feeling of the wrapped up, windswept pieces of wood and bark that you find all over the place here. There's pieces that I've made that I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to make here. Here's a piece about the grass, because I think that's a big element here. This is a piece I made for the online exhibit called Telephone, which is where they match artists up with each other, and I made this in response to a poem that they sent me that somebody else wrote, and it's about tame versus wild.